John Travolta can legally fly 17 different jets. That's more than most airline captains. He's even landed his own Boeing at home. Why does one actor need so many licenses? And what are these planes actually like inside? There's a story here that nobody expects. How did he get this far, and what's he chasing next? Why does one actor get this much sky power, and what's actually hiding behind those closed cabin doors? Number 6. Eclipse 500. This jet is so small it weighs less than the landing gear on some big airliners. But the Eclipse 500 isn't a toy. It's a real jet that climbs to 41,000 feet, right where the huge commercial planes fly. Most people think tiny jets are just for quick spins, but have you ever wondered what happens when you skip airport lines and fly like the rich? John Travolta has a pilot rating for the Eclipse 500. You probably picture him in giant planes, but this one flips the script. It hits 375 knots, almost 700 kilometers per hour. So you're blasting through the same sky as the airlines, only in your own little rocket. The big story is the range, 1,125 nautical miles. That's perfect for rich folks hopping city to city. No lines, no boarding passes, just walk up and go. No cabin crew, no overhead bins, no snack carts whacking your elbow. You get a couple seats, a cockpit, and your own private sky, if you've got the credentials. People never get to book a seat on Travolta's Eclipse. It's not a flight you can buy. It's just him and a handful of guests. It feels like a shortcut, but with real pilot muscle behind the controls. He's flown everything from Learjets to Boeings, and he's right at home here. Most people never even see a jet this small up close, let alone ride in one. That's what makes the Eclipse 500 special. It lets you slip into private aviation without needing a whole team. For Travolta, it's not about showing off, it's about control. He can pick his own schedule, leave when he wants, and avoid the noise and delays that turn air travel into a headache. What would you do with that freedom? If this is the smallest bird in his hangar, what happens when you step up into a jet that feels like a moving apartment? Cabin space starts to change everything, and it only gets wilder from here. Keep that speed in your mind, because the next jet is where the space gets real. Number 5. Bombardier Challenger 601. The Challenger 601 seats up to 12 people and covers 3,200 nautical miles on a tank. This isn't just a fancy office in the sky, it's where business class turns into boardroom luxury. Why would someone who can fly anything want a jet that feels like a rolling living room? This plane is Travolta's sweet spot. You get real privacy, but you can actually go places without stopping for gas all the time. The wide cabin means you're not bumping elbows like in a coach. It's roomy, almost like flying in your own den with all your friends along for the ride. The Challenger flies at 528 miles per hour, about 850 kilometers per hour. You're not puttering around, you're covering a serious distance fast. The cabin is built for comfort, not for packing people in. If you ever fly one, it feels nothing like squeezing into a tube, more like a private club above the clouds. Jets like this aren't for bucket list charters. Travolta has them as regulars. It's just another entry next to Learjets and Hawkers. When this kind of plane becomes your normal, it changes what rare means for everyone else. The Challenger 601 was designed in Canada and became the go-to jet for CEOs, politicians, and even pop stars needing real space on long hauls. Travolta's Challenger isn't some showpiece, it's a practical luxury. He uses it for cross-country flights, group trips, and events that need quiet, focused travel. There's a certain power in being able to bring your whole team with you, no interruptions. You start to see why the world's busiest people need more than just speed, they need their own air bubble. But there's a price for all this comfort. Even used, a Challenger 601 costs millions, and you're burning thousands of dollars every hour just to keep it moving. Fuel, crew, fixes, and that's before you start talking about a custom couch or a new paint job. If this is his business jet, what about the one with a real rocket attitude? There's a jet on his list with a history of high stakes, and it comes with a story most pilots never want to face. The comfort fades fast when risk walks into the cockpit. Number 4. Gulfstream II. The Gulfstream II first got certified in 1967 and can fly 10 to 12 people over 3,550 nautical miles non-stop. Why did this plane become the gold standard for anyone who wanted to fly rich and fast? This is the jet from celebrity tabloid photos, and Travolta learned to fly it himself. The G2 put private jets on the map. Long range, high speed, instant status. With 8 people on board, you can fly coast to coast or Europe in a single shot. Not many planes could do that back then. It's fast. Mach 0.85, about 900 kilometers per hour. It climbs out at 3,800 feet per minute. You feel it when you take off. Straight up. Commercial traffic way below you in seconds. That view from the window feels different when everyone else is left behind. Travolta's time with the G2 isn't just glitz. In 1992, he had a close call. A major electrical failure and a mistake from air traffic control almost put his Gulfstream into a US Air 727. He pulled off the landing, but that kind of scare flipped the mood from luxury to survival in seconds. Flying the Gulfstream II means stepping into a club that was once only for old-school tycoons, royalty, and heads of state. The sound, the vibration, even the smell of the leather, it all feels vintage. Pilots love the G2 for its hands-on flying, not just the push-button systems found on new jets. For Travolta, this isn't just nostalgia, it's skill. Flying an old Gulfstream by hand keeps a pilot sharp. Not everyone can say they have that edge. When flying rich turns into a high-stakes test, what's it like to move into a jet built for the really long runs? The next plane takes comfort, privacy, and distance up a level, with a twist that's rare in any private jet. Now the jet goes farther, and the ceilings get higher. Number 3. Dassault Falcon 900. The Falcon 900 runs with 3 engines, which almost nobody does anymore. But here's the question. Why does this weird setup make it perfect for crossing the Atlantic in one shot? Travolta's Falcon 900 LX can take up to 12 people and climb to 51,000 feet, higher than many airlines ever go. The range? A wild 4,650 to 4,800 nautical miles. That means you can fly from LA to London in one hop. No need to stop or pray for tailwinds. This jet doesn't just get you there, it does it fast. Cruises up to 895 kilometers per hour. The Falcon has a rep for being super quiet, low on turbulence, and just plain smooth. It's that 3-engine design. French engineers tuned it for comfort over chaos, and you feel it as soon as you sit down. Most people will never step on a tri-jet. Travolta gets to fly one himself, and he's got papers for a whole lineup. Citations, Learjets, even Boeings. The Falcon 900 would be the crown jewel for anyone else, but for him it's just part of the stack. What could possibly outflex a long-range tri-jet? The next step is the wildest twist, turning a real airliner into your personal sky palace. The next cockpit looks like every flight you've taken, but the inside is something you've never seen. Number 2. Boeing 737-300 BBJ. The Boeing 737-300 you see at the airport carries 126 to 149 people and covers 2,000 plus nautical miles. But what happens when you rip out the seats and build the inside for one person's dream trip? Travolta's list has the 737-300 BBJ, the business jet version. You're not dealing with boarding groups anymore. Instead, the cabin turns into a flying house. Bedrooms, showers, lounge spaces, conference tables. No more 140 people, just 25 or 30 VIPs, all with room to sprawl. Everyone else sees a 737 and thinks about fighting for overhead bin space. For the pilot, this is real airline work. Big plane, big responsibility. For Travolta, it's just another cockpit in his hangar, one where you could host a party instead of a flight. He walks into a jet that might be parked at his house, ready to go whenever he wants. That's not flying, that's living above the rest. Turning a 737 into a private jet isn't as simple as ripping out seats. Designers build entire bedrooms, add kitchens with real ovens, and sometimes even put in workout gear or movie theaters. Travolta's BBJ lets him land at airports where most people only dream of going. He can hold meetings, rest, eat, and land anywhere his schedule demands. How many people ever get to walk from their living room straight into the sky? But there's still one plane that makes this look almost normal. A real airliner, parked at home with a story nobody else in the world can match. One jet ended up parked like a car outside. Number 1. Boeing 707-138B, Jett Clipper Ella. Only 6 Boeing 707-138B planes were ever built, and every single one was made for Qantas. So how does one end up outside Travolta's house, and what makes this plane different from anything else? This 707 started its life in 1964 for Qantas, but it's shorter than most 707s, traded seats for longer range. Travolta's, with tail number N707JT, went from Australia to his own private air park in Florida, then back to a museum in Australia. Talk about a plane with a life. In its prime, the 707 could fly 140 to 180 people at 600 miles per hour, 970 kilometers per hour, 35,000 feet in the air. Back in the 1960s, this jet actually shrank the world, making long-haul travel possible for the first time. You're not just looking at a plane, you're looking at the reason the modern travel map even exists. Travolta called his jet Jett Clipper Ella, named for his kids. He flew it as a Qantas ambassador, making it part of his family's story. Eventually, age and rules forced him to donate it to Australia's Historical Aircraft Restoration Society. Almost nobody sees a 707 up close these days. To own one, park it at your house, and actually fly it? That's in a league of its own. Now you know the 6 wildest jets, but here's the real twist. Why does one actor keep chasing more sky, stacking up 17 type ratings and collecting more flight hours than some airline pilots? The answer might be even stranger than the planes themselves. The planes are wild, but the motive gets wilder. If any of these jets surprised you, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Ready for more stories that go behind the scenes? Just tap any video on your screen right now. Thanks for hanging out. See you in the next one.